Welcome, YouTube. Today we're going to do a Q&A about my 8 years of living in Batumi as a Canadian expat. Make sure you stay till the end to learn something new that you might not have known about me before. What are some of the things I miss most from Canada? Other than my family and friends, I would have to say barbecue or slow cooked barbecue, low and slow, 12, 14 hour briskets or pork shoulders. They just don't do that here. I mean, they got some rotisserie ovens. They do chicken and pork hock. That's close, but I really miss, a grade A brisket cooked for 12, 14 hours. That's something that's hard to find here in Batumi. What's been my favorite place to visit outside of Batumi? I really like the mountains, so I would have to say Hulo, Keita, Soineti. Those are all places in the mountains that I visit. Prometheus Caves was very interesting, which is on the way to the mountains in Soineti. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of interesting places to see outside of Batumi. What are some of the differences in culture between Georgia and Canada? I think the biggest one for me is it's almost like going back in a time capsule 50 or 75 years, the way they do things here. There's still so much manual labor used for so many tasks that have been automated or done with machines in Canada. The other thing that's probably the biggest difference between Georgia and Canada is culture. Georgians believe firmly in family and family connection, so they spend a lot of time together eating, celebrating, and even living together. I mean, you see families here, three, four, not four, but three generations all living together in the same house and getting along just fine. What's my favorite Georgian food that I can't find in Canada? Kankali and hachapuri are very common here and well liked, but I'd have to say my favorite Georgian food is sheshlik or ojikuri. It's roasted meat, potatoes, mushrooms. Very good. How do I spend a free weekend in Batumi? There are lots of options here. You can just go down to the beach, spend time at the beach, walking the boulevard. There's, normally thousands of people. So people watching, laying in the sun. There's different places to eat, have coffee. Other things to do here on a free weekend. There's plenty of sites around Batumi. You could go to Goiano. There's a fortress there, tour the fortress. You can cross the border. Turkey is like 20 kilometers away. Sarpi, go shopping in Turkey. So many options to do here. There's whitewater rafting not far away. There's a waterfall tour. You can go tour some beautiful waterfalls nearby. So many things to do, and there's the other things I like to do on a free weekend is there's some activity groups on WhatsApp and Telegram, and they're doing various events like playing beach volleyball or going on hiking trips. So yeah, plenty to do here in Batumi on weekends. What's the one thing that a new person coming to Batumi should do? I think the list is not that I can't just pick one thing. Like so many things to experience here. So, but for sure you would want to see the boulevard. That's a highlight of Batumi and old Batumi, which has a lot of historical significance and nice architecture there. Definitely need to try some Georgian cuisine. And while you're enjoying your feast, there's usually some traditional Georgian dancing. And that's something to see too. It's very athletic and poetic. So that's something I recommend everybody come here to see. And after that, there's just the normal, go see the sites from all the history and culture in Georgia. Am I fluent in Georgian? I know a few words here. The basic survival Georgian, Garmajoba, which is hello, Madloba, is it thank you, Randemi, how much. Those are the common phrases I use a lot. Garmajos, that's cheers. I need to learn more Georgian. I understand more than I can speak. And I'm starting to learn a little bit of other languages while I'm here too. So it's an interesting language. What is the weather like here compared to Canada? I compare the weather in Batumi to a lot like Vancouver. If you've ever been to Vancouver, you know what I'm talking about. The summers are sunny, warm, 30, 35 degrees, and the winters are, 5 to 15 degrees, rainy and cloudy. Probably a little shorter winter here than in Vancouver, probably only 2 or 3 months of, cloudy, rainy weather in the winter. And here it's probably similar to like every second or third year they get a couple centimeters of snow that lasts a week or a couple days. So that's the weather is pretty much the same to Vancouver. But compared to where I'm from in Edmonton, Georgian weather or Batumi weather is so much better because we have nasty winter where I'm from. It could be super cold, minus 40, minus 50 in extreme, a meter of snow. And we don't have any of that here in Batumi. In fact, I call it a three seasons community: spring, summer, and fall, because they don't have any winter here. The grass doesn't even turn brown in the winter, it just hibernates. What's one thing I appreciate about Georgian lifestyle? Like I mentioned earlier, they're really into family connection here. So they take a lot of time and effort to spend time together, with meals, celebrating, living together. And the other thing I really like about Batumi lifestyle is the laid back lifestyle. Deadlines here are just a suggestion. People never in a hurry, which can be frustrating at times if you're trying to get work done. But it's definitely good for lifestyle and easing the amount of stress that you have in your life. Have I met any other Canadians while living in Batumi? Yes, over the years, I've been here 8 years now. I think I've met three, four, maybe five different Canadians. Not many of them stay here that long, like I have, but they are coming. And there are lots of other expats because, the weather is so nice here and low cost of living and it's on the beach. It attracts a lot of different expats from around the world. So yeah, there's never a dull moment here with meeting new expats. What's my biggest pet peeve in Batumi? I'd have to say shopping. Because of the language barrier and Georgian way of life doesn't embrace technology that much. The online shopping, which I am used to and like enjoy very much, not very prevalent here. So shopping is difficult, between the language barrier, shopping at local markets, and being able to even find what you're looking for because it's not marketed properly or listed properly online. So I find myself, ordering more stuff than I should online through Amazon, and it's Amazon is available here. You use a freight forwarder. I use one called Kmex, and it's about a week, 10 days for stuff to come here from the U.S. They have an address in Turkey, so I order a fair amount of stuff from Turkey as well. As a Canadian, what was the process to obtain residency in Georgia? Georgia has a very lenient visa policy, so most of the Western countries, US, Canada, Australia, Europe, can come here visa free just about any time, no questions asked. In fact, when I first came here, they didn't ask me any questions when I came to the border. And I'm allowed to, with my visa or my passport, I'm allowed to stay here 365 days. And I can just reset it by crossing the border, going into Turkey or traveling somewhere and then coming back, and I get another 365 days. So, yeah, as a Canadian, it's been really easy to come into Batumi. If you could teleport one thing from Georgia to Canada and Canada to Georgia, what would that be? Well, that'd be easy for Canada to Georgia. I'm from Alberta and we have world renowned beef. So I would definitely teleport some beef here, and the process of cooking it low and slow, a brisket, 12, 14 hours, low and slow with smoked. So that's one thing I would teleport from Canada here. From Georgia to Canada, I think it would be two things: the weather, especially in Edmonton. The weather here in Batumi is so much nicer. I would teleport that for sure. And then just the cultural embracement of family and social connection here. Can you see yourself living in Batumi, Georgia 5 years from now? I've got after living a few places around the world, I don't think, you could live in just one place anymore, or I could live in just one place anymore. I think ideally I'd like to have like two or three different places around the world, have a place where you could go and stay for 6 months or a year. And Georgia, Batumi, Georgia would be on that list. I mean, that'd be one of the places I would have a home, and then probably another one in Vancouver. The third place would be in Eastern Asia somewhere, Malaysia or something like that.